shot time.
Oh boy!
Welcome back to another episode of Learning Trick Shots. Is a load of fun. This week we got a doozy for you. It's actually a Masse shot. It's one that I almost had to perform in an actual league match a couple weeks ago. I say almost because in this particular situation, my opponent was looking to do a safety, but the safety didn't work out quite the way he wanted to. So let me go ahead and pull this up because it's going to be easier just to show you what happened than to sit here and try and explain it. So I'm going to fade this in real quick and pause the video for you. Bring it back to the beginning here. All right, so on the setup shot, this is basically what you're looking at, right? I was the stripes, right? And my opponent was the solids. What my opponent tried to do, and what almost made this shot have to happen, was the opponent, the cue ball at the time, was sitting over here. And what my opponent tried to do was shoot the cue ball into the 5-ball, so the 5-ball came straight across, hit the rail, and came back to hit the cue ball in hopes of leaving something like this mess that you see on the table right here, right? The 5 and the 2 blocking the path to the 9-ball. Now, being smart about it, you could take this a couple different ways, all right? Because the 8-ball was actually up table this way. So with some practice and some time on the table and working this shot, you can actually make this 9-ball, have it go in the pocket and have the cue ball come off, and then because of the spin come out this way and back up table here to actually have the shot on the 8-ball. All right. However, I'm a little out of practice with the Masses, and I haven't gotten my touch quite back yet. So is what you'll see in this particular deal is the cue ball come up, curve back around, hit the rail first, then hit the 9-ball, and then it ends up tucking in behind the 5-ball. But we do make the 9-ball. This shot can be pulled off by coming up around and coming back and making contact with the 9-ball first before hitting the rail. When I was practicing this shot and seeing, what would happen with it after that match, I actually did that a couple of times where I made contact with the 9-ball first, and I ended up, like I told you, hitting the rail with the cue ball and coming out this way and getting left with a shot at the 8-ball. That's not what happens in this particular video, because when I went to record it, it just didn't work out that way. So play smart. There are times to play the trick shots, especially if you're well practiced on it, especially if you have the touch developed, and that sort of thing. Then you can execute it the way you want to. Then go ahead and implement it into your game. But until then, just continue to practice these until you get them perfected, especially these Masses. Because as beautiful as these Masses are, they can get you in trouble just as easily as they can get you out of trouble. So just make sure that you're practiced up on these. But with all that said, let's go over the setup here. Super simple, as you can see. Your two ball, the edge of it is, I have it reversed here in the diagram, but the two ball or the five ball, the edge of it is actually even with this diamond right here, if I could ever draw straight, but the edge of it is even with that diamond. The two ball's edge is just a little below that diamond, so you maybe have half a ball or a quarter ball distance in between the two and the five. So they're in there pretty tight. There's no way for you to shoot between them and actually hit the 9 ball without hitting one of theirs first. So that's, and then the cue ball is essentially set up to where it's right in that gap in between the 5 and the 2. As you can see on the diagram right here, this gap is pretty even with that. And what we're basically doing is we're doing a Masse stroke in order to make the cue ball come up and around to get the 9 ball. All right. And the reason that I was looking at this as a Masse shot is because up table, right, the kick angle was cut off, so there was no way to truly come kick at it from up this side of the table. Now you could come back here and kick here and come up and play a safe in that aspect, but that's an extremely touchy shot, and if you don't hit that exactly right, then you knock the 9 ball out. The cue ball gets left over here and opens up a shot for the 2 ball. So, you know, you have to decide for yourself where your skill level is at, what you're most comfortable doing and trying to achieve with this, with a shot like this. In my case, this was post-match. It wasn't during the match. I just wanted to set it up to see if I could pull it off in the event that I had to. But what ended up happening was he shot the cue ball into the 5 ball. The 5 ball hit the rail like he expected, but when it came back, it hit the bottom side of the cue ball over here and came up and stopped even right here with the 2 ball, and it sent the cue ball up table, leaving me an easy shot to come up here with a draw shot, hit the 9 ball, come back, hit the rail, and bounce out off the table or off the rail to be able to get a nice easy shot almost virtually straight in on the side pocket. I did end up winning that match because of this particular situation, but that's what actually ended up happening. So without further ado, I'm going to switch this from the setup diagram to the execution diagram so you can see what's actually happening in this shot. So as you can see, I'm actually putting that 6:30 to almost 7 o'clock, so about 6:45 English on the cue ball with the cue elevated 80 to 85 degrees. And my aim point is sitting right here at this 3rd diamond on the table. All right. So it's 1 diamond from the side pocket, 3 diamonds from the corner pocket is where I'm actually aiming this shot. So as you can see, I'm actually back here. And the way that I have this up, you could draw a line from there to that 3rd diamond on the table. And I'm doing that 6:45 thereabouts English on this, which I could probably end up taking it back to about 6:30 and pull the shot off with the right amount of speed without hitting the rail before the 9 ball and make contact with the 9 first. But again, I need to do a little more experimenting with it, get a little better feel and in touch with this particular shot. So as you can see, elevate the cue 70 to 80 degrees. I'm reading the diagram right there. Aim for the aim point as shown, i.e. at that 3rd diamond there. and then strike the cue ball at 6:30 to 7 o'clock. All right. So experiment with this again. You're going to get different results on your table and its conditions and the atmospheric conditions again. So, again, try it out. See how you do with it. Keep practicing it until you get it, pretty well mastered, and it'll be come in handy in a game, especially if you end up in a situation similar to this and you need a way out. So let's play this real quick and let you see the shot. Drum roll, please. There you have it, guys. We'll go ahead and restart it, let you see it one more time. Pretty wild to see a cue ball actually do stuff like that, where it goes out and turns or changes directions without ever touching anything. That's one of the reasons why Masse shots are so beautiful. But they're also very touchy, very much a touch shot. And I apologize for shaking the camera. But yeah, they're a touchy shot. That's something that takes a lot of practice to get good at. But I showed you the techniques. I showed you the concepts behind it in the first video that I did, where I was talking about trick shots do help your actual game. So go back and watch that video if you want some more detailed information on how to perform a Masse shot, how to aim them, etc. But in the meantime, this is how to set this one up and how to execute this one. So I hope you guys try it. I hope you guys have some success with it, and have some fun with it. That's the whole purpose for this channel. That's the whole reason why I do these videos. So next week, we're going to do a little bit more of a classic one. Another easy one, though, that just about anybody can do. You don't have to learn anything fancy like a Masse shot or a jump shot or anything like that. Just fairly basic, straightforward trick shot, but it's a classic involving 4 balls and making them in 4 different pockets. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and call this one a day, and we'll see you next week for another trick shot video. On your way out, make sure that you hit the like button if you like this video, subscribe to the channel so you can actually keep seeing more of these videos. Leave a comment, let me know how you're doing with these shots, let me know how your progress or your adventure in trick shots is going. If you have any trouble with any of these shots, feel free to leave a question for me. I'll be glad to answer it as best I can. I might even make a video talking about that very issue if enough people are having problems with it. And also hit the notification button so that you can be notified when future videos come out, because I've got a bunch more coming out in the future. So yeah, there it is. Like, subscribe, comment, leave, and hit the notification bell, and we will see you guys next week for another trick shot.